Hello there. Some 6 months ago, I have published this video explaining Dai Ikkyo technique. It was well received, though some people still had some doubts and questions about it. As it turned out, a couple of months after I had published the video, I realized that I made an error in the second part of the technique. And I was hoping to get back to it and correct as soon as I can. But I've been too busy. Well, at least up until now. So I'm happy finally being able to get things done right and to make an updated version of this video. I hope you will enjoy it as well as benefit from it. Thank you for watching. Amongst numerous Aikido techniques, there has been only two that founder has placed great emphasis on. That's Shihonage and Dai Ikkyo. Dai Ikkyo means the great first teaching. Ikkyo is fundamental. You have to get good in Ikkyo. Ikkyo alone is enough. It might take a lifetime to master Ikkyo. Those quotes are credited to the founder of Aikido. Obviously, founder stressed the importance of this technique very much, especially Ikkyo seated version. But why? There are many wonderful and seemingly more efficient techniques. When people are asked to demonstrate an Aikido technique to a non-practitioner, usually they do Nikkyo or Sankyo, simply because they are sure it will work, because of intense pain involved in the joint. So, me too. I couldn't understand why founders stressed this technique so much. When you look at Ikkyo technique, there is seemingly nothing special to it. Grab the arm of your opponent, lower it while twisting hips, and then enter with your leg to pin your opponent to the ground. So this is a way of doing it in some major styles of Aikido. I had been practicing like that myself for a long time, though I hadn't liked it very much. And I couldn't understand where the special factor is. Why Ueshiba Sensei considered it fundamental and essential? Well, at least it was like that until I rediscovered this technique in Budo manual. Original in the manual, we have 4 pictures and some instructions accompanying it. It reads as follows. Step forward with your right foot while striking your opponent's forehead with your right tagatana, and execute an atemi to his side with your left fist, uke. Block your opponent's tagatana with your right hand, shite. Cut down your opponent's front elbow with your right tagatana and then grab his wrist while controlling his right elbow with your left hand. Step forward diagonally to the right with your left foot and bring his right arm down in front of your abdomen. Advance further forward while pinning him to the mat. Then pin your partner's right arm with your legs and strike his head with your right tagatana. But even though we have those 4 pictures, it's not enough to understand all the key points of this technique. Actually, we need at least 4 more pictures for this purpose. In his demonstrations of Budo techniques, Saito Sensei did it the way he would usually do it, but I found it to be inaccurate, and I'm sure I can prove it. Let's analyze the technique step by step. First, there are 2 ways of initiating from Shomenuchi. One is extending your tagatana and blending, and other is actually striking with your tagatana. We are instructed to do the latter one. This is because of the distancing involved. Luckily, we have additional picture, an outtake from original photo session demonstrating this Shomenuchi strike. So, as instructed, fill yourself with ki and initiate with Shomenuchi. Uke reacts to it by blocking with his right hand. At the same time, strike with your left fist to the ribs of your uke. This position was excluded from the manual. Fortunately, we have this position shown in the Noma Dojo collection. Next, grab the elbow of your partner immediately, then initiating from your hips, control his arm, locking his structure. Now, this is where essential part of Dai Ikkyo technique begins. When one student of the founder had found the right moment and asked his teacher to teach him the secrets of Ikyo, founder's reply was, "Think of a well-sharpened sword." For a long time, I couldn't understand the meaning of this kuden, or orally transmitted teaching. Where is the sword part? What am I missing? The answer was always there, hidden in Budo manual. The essence of Dai Ikkyo is to move your body in the same manner as if cutting with a sword. Indeed, founder has taught that when doing empty-handed techniques, think of the weapons. All is one. All is the same, he would say. He actually said that everything in Aikido comes from the sword, or from the spear. This is why Dai Ikkyo is so important, because we learn fundamental lesson. The manner of moving the body, the method of generating power in this martial art, comes from the sword. Aikido is closer to Kenjutsu than it is to Judo, founder once told. So from this position, you need to step in with your left foot while cutting the arms down to your abdomen in the same manner as if cutting with a sharp sword. Simply lowering the arms down from this position is not correct. It's not authentic. You need to step in with your left foot and cut. This is what actually written in the instructions, to step in with your left foot while cutting with your arms. I've been struggling to realize this earlier, because I've been so accustomed in doing it wrong. But once I found out how Ueshiba sensei did it, suddenly everything made perfect sense. In this shot, from Nomodojo pictures, we see it even more clearly. Here, Ueshiba sensei's heel is raised up, ready to step in. Then when I looked more closely in Aiki Jujutsu Densho and Maki no Ichi manuals, it is the same. Stepping in with the inner leg and cutting. Then again, when I reviewing the surviving video materials of the founder, it is unmistakably evident that founder would step in with his inner leg in Ikyo while cutting the arms down. It is the same in Shihonage. It is the same in iremi nage. Stepping in and cutting, it is essential principle. But hold on, this way of doing Ikyo had been taught by Aikido giants like Saito sensei, Shioda sensei, Touhei sensei. These men cannot be wrong, can they? They had been direct students of the founder for a long time. Those people are largely responsible for how Aikido techniques are understood and practiced worldwide. And yet, this way of moving in Ikkyo is fundamentally incorrect. This way is the same as if cutting with a sword like that. It is not correct. This is correct way of cutting while stepping in. And this is correct Dai Ikkyo movement. Cutting with your hips and shoulders misaligned is fundamentally incorrect. Then there are more Aikido giants like Tomiki sensei, Shirata sensei, Tamura sensei, Tadashi Abe sensei, Shojinishio sensei, Kishimaru Ueshiba Nidai Doshu. These teachers did it correctly, entering with the inner foot in Dai Ikkyo. One should absolutely step in and cut in Ikkyo Mote. This is principle of the swordsmanship directly transmitted into empty-handed techniques. Also, this is what breaks the uke structure sufficiently. Somehow, in Tsuwari Waza, everybody are doing it correctly, entering with the inner knee first. But once they stand up for standing ovation, they start doing strange things. Things that are not in tune with essential Aikido principles. Founder never overemphasized the techniques. He never or very rarely explained things in detail. According to Nobuyoshi Tamura sensei, founder wouldn't explain even Ikkyo. But maybe the reason some masters did it differently is because they had perfected this technique. Well, there's nothing to perfect here. This is Dai Ikkyo, the great first teaching, the most essential, basic, and important technique, and the technique that founder demonstrated most often. So this is where updated part comes in. In originally published video, after entering and cutting with the arms, I readjusted the back foot for the strong entry with the front leg in order to take down my uke. This really made good sense at the time, and I was quite sure of its accuracy. Well, the matching with the Budo photographs was there, and most importantly, it didn't violate any of the Aikido principles. Uke never had a chance to counter, nor my own balance was sacrificed. Please understand how confusingly Budo manual has been organized. Here, this is one Dai Ikkyo sequence from this angle, and this is the very same technique, but now taken from oblique angle. To make things more confusing, both are taken approximately in the same spot. Then there is the fact that Saito Sensei, my mentor for a long time, has taught Dai Ikkyo in two phases. 1, 2. First lowering, then bringing down. So, in short, this way of doing technique in two phases made really good sense. I still think this is a good variation under certain circumstances, but it's not basic. This was my mistake. But as I have never stopped studying, never stopped deepening my understanding of Budo techniques, it was a matter of time before I got things just right, just like with many other techniques. Now, so as it turns out, for correct Ikkyo mote, you need stepping forcefully enough to cut him down to the ground. No 1-2 movement is necessary. As Ojiba Sensei has advised, think of a well-sharpened sword and step in forcefully using your legs and arms simultaneously. Enter using your Kokyu power, and Uke won't be able to resist or do anything. He will definitely fall down on his knees or his side. This is how you get into these positions. Nothing else is needed, just stepping in and cutting. Just like in Ikyo, single turn brings him down. Likewise, in Omote, single cut should bring him down. There are people that say, oh, you cannot enter with the inner leg. This or that sensei said you will be countered by Uke grabbing your leg if you step in too early. Well, Uke never has a chance to grab or do anything. He is brought down with a single cut, single iremi. This is our sensei Ikyo. It remained the same throughout his teaching career. There's no single evidence that O-sensei performed Dai Ikkyo any other way. Most of his students got the form more or less right. Interestingly, Saito Sensei in the beginning of his teaching career did it very similarly too, only with slight missynchronization of the cutting of the arms and stepping in. Gradually it evolved into two separate movements, 1 and 2. But this zigzagging motion never has been Dai Ikkyo and never will be. Why? Because the essence of Dai Ikkyo is iremi. O-sensei said that Omote technique holds a very deep meaning. This is because the essence of Omote is the principle of iremi. In Ikkyo Omote, one should step in and cut using iremi. This is a powerful method of using structural and energetical integration of your body. Without twisting, without causing pain to your uke, Naga steps in and cuts with iremi using connected body. This is Dai Ikkyo. Ikkyo that has no iremi is not Ikkyo. Case closed. Now, to finish the technique, you need to bring him down flat on his belly. There are many people that simply kneel down from here to pin, but that is no good. This is fine as long as Uke fully cooperates. You cannot expect your attacker willingly follow whatever you do. and get himself into a position where he is helpless. Aikido has its roots in genuine Budo. This should never change. And of course there are teachers who are doing it right. While maintaining connected body, bring your back foot in front and pull your uke like that. This will flatten him on his belly and then lower yourself down for seated pin. And normally the technique would be over here. But to do it completely, to do it Budo way, you need to free at least one arm for a possible strike, and so you do it this way. Now uke is under total control and your right arm is ready for the decisive strike. This is Budo. Even though it seems that Ueshiba Sensei didn't teach this variation often in the post-war era, we can see from the surviving footage found occasionally would demonstrate this finishing variation when in the right mood. So again, correct standing Ikkyo is stepping in and cutting as if with a sword. This is authentic Ikkyo technique. Saito Sensei treasured Budo manual very much. He always had it with him when teaching. He believed that this manual is very important for the future development of the art. I think so too. I think people underestimate the importance of the old documents like Budo manual. I believe Saito Sensei would be very pleased to know that somebody undertook the enormous task of deciphering the Budo manual in great scrutiny. So this is my updated version of Dai Ikkyo technique. I hope you enjoyed it. I truly believe that in order to progress forward, we must look back to what has been lost. And that O-sensei is the only true gateway to reaching the highest levels of the art. So I won't stop either. I have a couple more techniques already filmed, and hopefully I'll be able to produce more videos soon, as I have more free time now. So for now, thanks for watching, and again, next time you do Ikkyo, think of a well-sharpened sword. See you soon.